Hey, it's Chukwumah of Space and Equity, where we're all about increasing assets and creating new space. We are excited to be off-site with Tiara Shelton, the founding family member of the Texas International Beauty and Wellness Expo. Tiara, thank you so much for your time in this busy time space for you.
Thank you.
All right.
No problem.
So Tiara, this is, we talked in the beginning briefly about your family founded this hair show 20 years ago. When somebody puts something together like this, why? What's the purpose and the goal behind an expo?
The main purpose most people have behind the expo is finding that platform for whatever field or industry you're in, to have that center location to educate each other, like we say, educate, entertain, and also empower one another.
Okay.
A lot of fields from hair industry, you can go from hair, you can go to social work, which is like where I come from. You always need that conference area to do all those things, and also empower the business owner in our area, you know, the black business owner, the business owner of color in general, which starts with the Texas International version of our name.
Gotcha. So professionals in the industry, they can come to an event like this and get hours towards their professional license or continuing education. That's one purpose behind it.
Right.
Obviously, you mentioned a lot about just camaraderie in general, to empower one another, to get best practices. What typically spins off from an event like this? If I come to the expo, I'm a hair professional from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
What do I expect to gain when I come here?
Well, I personally think it could be a few things. So I always say we all have different reasons to be in our lanes. So I've seen where people come and they're like, I want to be that educator that just did that impactful classroom. Some may come like, I know I have this product idea. I know I have this consultant type style idea, and I see things like my state board kit. I need to get that product off. I need to find or take more business classes that I took at the show and do that so well. And then you have the people where I have skills that are like theatric, that's entertaining, and can show my skill on a platform that can go from Brunner Brothers to Hollywood. So I think there are several lanes where people decide to go once experiencing this. That's why I always ask the students, like, what was your best part of the show? Because you hear the different ahs and shocks and how we're all so different in what we want out of the industry.
Okay. So just listening to you talk, I can tell you have a large business acumen. And one of the things that is understood in our community but may not be understood outside is that hair, the barber shop, the beauty shop is the foundation of our community in a lot of cases. With that, there's a lot of business verticals that come from that space. Talk about how to, as a somebody in the hair industry, how do you recognize and properly deploy those other business opportunities? You talked about theatrics, stuff that spins off from that. How do you make that, monetize that?
From being rooted in the barbershop and hair salon. Well, if we be honest, going back to the history, Texas International Hair Show started that way. My mom was one of those people, well, she's still to this day. Anyone knows Miss Kim, she goes to the beauty shop once a week or once every 2 weeks, and she does it like clockwork. And that's where my father was like, there's something there, you know, like I understand it's also that wellness aspect of she's probably want to escape from the kids and myself, but he was also saying like, there is a business avenue there. People want to be with each other. Women stay in the shop. Y'all are in and out as men, like, or people who get haircut, because my friend gets barber, but y'all are in and out, but women can be in the shop for 3 to 6 hours at times, and they don't complain, right? So that was our expo, knowing that people will join together, and but they needed a space. They needed a space to be able to have their products on display. They needed space to be able to have their skills seen, so they can connect with other people. I think it's just the barbershop and the beauty shops, or now spas, things like that, they allow for those comfortable, vulnerable conversations to occur, which allows you to see like, what is it that you're truly desiring.
So it's been a very recent evolution in the black community to consider mental health as an option or something that needs to be addressed and properly taken care of. Historically, it's been the barbershop, it's been the beauty salon. How do we incorporate the mental health professional arena into what we don't need that? That's for white people, is what we used to, that's the term that we used to say when it came to mental health, when it came to depression and anxiety. How do we now, with the new tools, newer tools that we have, still incorporate that into what we've always done is gone to the barbershop, gone to the beauty shop for those.
Right. I say it's a company, and the name is falling behind my mind, but I want to make sure I try to remember it. They're doing a cool thing where they are going and empowering and equipping barbers at shows like ours. Due to just unfortunate events with COVID and things, they were not able to come this year, but we were bringing them out. They do classes of 200 to 300 barbers where they're not empowering you to be the therapist, but they're giving you the language, that's what it is, the communication, to make those people feel comfortable about taking the next steps to go see a therapist, to seek help. It could be alcohol help or whatever it is, but giving those people the language to what's the next steps, because they're going to vent to you.
Yes,
they naturally,
absolutely.
we vent to whoever we're in the chair with. So I think that's a big open lane, and it's cool to see that one person is doing it, but it's so many cosmetologists and so many barbers, especially in Texas. We're the largest to have that industry here, that it can be a few people going out equipping these stylists, these barbers, with the language to give those individuals that sit in their chairs the next steps without them feeling like the same, like, girl, you need therapy. You need to go to therapy. Or have you considered therapy? As a social worker, I learned there's so many ways to say things and people take it without actually saying that thing.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So you've seen, and maybe this is not a fair question because you're a young lady. There's 20 years of evolution of this expo.
Okay.
What has changed in the past decade for the better? What has changed and improved?
Okay, so social media has definitely always made an impact. I would say also just the name getting known. I don't know if it's that small business ownership or what, but living in a big city, you would think people just automatically know, but we can still go into shops this day when we're on the floor promoting, and they're like, oh, I've never heard of this. And you're just like 20 years. So I would say social media has helped in that. I would say before losing my father, his ability to just really strike the chord of customer service, regardless if it was an exhibitor, regardless if it was a student who's fearful trying to be on the stage as a barber competitor. He's always took the time to embed true customer service for who he's serving. So I would say that's one thing that has gotten stronger. And I think, of course, when things are changing and switching, things can switch up, but that has been one of my biggest things to make sure that I continue here as well.
Okay. Awesome. So this expo is about business owners. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. In fact, the environment is about entrepreneurs. In that, you grow and you scale your business. You've seen Jay-Z become a billionaire, sold title. It's not necessarily a bad thing to grow a business, scale it, and then sell it. However, we see in our hair industry, whether it be Carol's Daughter, the Dudley products, eventually larger institutions tend to gobble those things up. What's your take on that?
I'll be honest, that's an interesting question. I think it needs to be discussed more, because I feel that I understand why some of them may do it, just because the importance, like you just said, scaling, but I think it's a way, even myself, I think it's so much room for more financial resources to these business owners. I think one thing about Black people of color, they have the grind, they have the hustle, but it's going to be impeccable when we have opportunities like Space and Equity teaching us how to really scale it with ownership still, or still having a piece in it or a say in it. Because I think a lot of times people think they've won by giving it away and having that wealth that they can live on, but that's just impacting you and your family. But how can you stay in it, stay with those percentages, having to stay in it? Because a lot of times those products change too.
Yes.
So of course we want to make sure you get that wealth, you can continue your legacy, but it's also like you want that product that people fell in love with to stay what they fell in love with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ms. Shelton, we got a mic drop on that. So tell us, what do you need to plug? What do you want to escalate to the community before we head out here?
More importantly, if you have time, whenever, check out Texas Hair Shows on Instagram, texashairshows.com. Support, you see the exhibitors list on our page. Support each and every one of them. I always say it's something out there for someone. And all of us try to, including myself, continue to find ways to read those books, find ways to consult with guys like you to just make sure that we're keeping not only our name on things, but we're keeping our own financial gains, and then the best outlook for everyone else and everything else.
Awesome. Well, Space and Equity, we're about increasing assets and creating new space. You can find us on IG at OB_empowers. Find us on YouTube, Space and Equity. Our website, Space Equity Corp. Wherever you go to social media, you can find us. We're on Spotify. If you don't like what you see, don't give us an upside down thumb. Shoot me an email, Obi@Space Equity Corp. If it makes sense, I'll respond to you. Come correct, and they can't stop you.